Well, as we record this, it is Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
And what happens a week and 1 day from now? And not tomorrow, but next Thursday will be
Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. And what's the number one thing every Thanksgiving meal is supposed to have? The number one food that's just pretty much got to be there for it to be an official American Thanksgiving.
Turkey?
Got to be turkey, right? And that's good news for keto people and diabetics that don't want to raise their blood sugar, because turkey is not going to raise your blood sugar unless you put on a big old bread coating. So turkey's cool. No problem with turkey. Eat as much turkey as you like. That's a good news.
Good.
But if you ask what's the number two food after turkey, well, there might be a little debate about that, but a lot of people would say stuffing.
Oh, okay.
And stuffing is a problem for people concerned about blood sugar issues.
Yeah, if not the blood sugar issues, it's really sweet. I've eaten it a good number of times. Stuffing is good.
We make it for the kids when they come over, because we haven't converted them, have we?
No.
I don't think we ever will, at least not until they have blood sugar problems like I did, if they ever do. May God keep them from ever having that. Anyway, stuffing is not such a good deal, and so I did what anybody could do. I went to YouTube and typed in keto stuffing, and boom, there were a bunch of choices. I went to a lady that I respect, and I've used a lot of her recipes. Her channel is called Keto Focus. I don't even know her name. She rarely says her name. I think some people know her name, because when I've mentioned her before, they call her by her name, but I don't know her name. I know her as Keto Focus.
Okay.
But she had a stuffing made with chaffles. Now, we've made chaffles before. We're not going to show you a whole lot about how to make them.
We have a video for that.
But we'll put a link to the video where we show how to make chaffles.
Right.
But you do something interesting with the chaffles after you make them.
Yeah.
And to make this keto stuffing. It's a chaffle.
That's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah, the whole thing is actually quite a bit of work. It's not something I'd be wanting to do every couple of days for sure. But for a holiday like Thanksgiving, it's perfect. At least if it tastes good. I haven't even tasted it. I don't know if you've cheated.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so we're going to find out right here on camera whether we even like this stuff or not. But we've got... not turkey. We've got a turkey in the fridge, but we're not going to have that today. So
this is not turkey.
This is chicken, but we got a rotisserie chicken, good old Walmart rotisserie chicken. And by the way, when I talk about rotisserie chickens, a lot of people write in, they say, oh, they've got a lot of sugar added to them.
Really?
But on the package that this rotisserie chicken comes in, it says carbohydrates 0. So either they're lying or
Did he say
else,
sugar 0?
Well, if sugar's in it, that's a carb.
Okay.
So if there's sugar, they would have to list it. So either Walmart's really ripping us off and lying, and I don't think they are, or this particular type of rotisserie chicken doesn't have sugar added to it. So we're thankful for that.
Okay.
We've also got green beans to make a dinner. This is actually dinner time for us. I kind of lost track of what time it is. I think it must be around 7 or so as we record this.
Yeah.
So this is about the time we might eat dinner. And we're going to have our dinner, but we thought we'd give it a taste test. Before we even go any further, we're going to show you how to make it. Again, this is Keto Focus's recipe, and so I'll put a link to the way she shows it and does it, which will be better than mine, but I'll give you a quick rundown on how we did it. We did it almost the way she did.
Yep.
We did have a bit of a problem when it came to cutting those chaffles because this girl always wants to do things her style, her way. And so I just believe in following whoever I'm learning from.
Right.
So when Keto Focus Lady says you cut up the chaffles with scissors and make little bits and pieces of your chaffle to bake in the oven.
You're telling that story?
When she says that, I got out the scissors and I'm starting to cut, and Benedicta thought that was terrible. You just couldn't hardly stand that I would take scissors and cut up a chaffle.
No, I said I can do my style, like use the knife and, cut it that usual way, like, small like that on the chop board.
She wanted to take a knife, African style, and chop, 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 chop. But it didn't quite work. Before long, you turned into a convert. You started doing it like I did. So you had a little bit of a problem.
I don't know about about that. I wanted to try both and see which one that goes better. Yeah.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Yeah, rest
I
it.
think the scissors actually works out better. But anyway, if you have an opinion on whether you should cut your chaffles with a scissors or cut them with a knife, let us know.
Yep.
Not that that's going to solve any world problems, but it'd be kind of fun to hear. All right, so we don't even know whether we're going to like this or not. I mean, based on the ingredients, it seems like I probably will.
Okay.
Going to like the chicken and the green beans for sure. This stuffing, I don't know. So right now, while we dish this out, we'll go to exactly how we made this keto chaffle stuffing. At the heart of this keto stuffing is the chaffle. A chaffle, well, it's like a waffle, but it's made of shredded cheese and eggs. Although in this case, the keto focus lady encourages you to use a little almond flour and a couple of other things. To make about 3 to 4 chaffles, you can usually use 1 egg and a half cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, but for this recipe, you'll need to use 4 eggs and 2 cups of cheese. If you only have one mini waffle maker, that's going to take a long time, but we have a 4 chaffle maker and several single chaffle makers, so we made them much quicker. Of course, there's no reason you couldn't use a regular waffle maker and make a couple of big waffles. This recipe also called for a 1/4 cup of almond flour and some baking powder. Mix the chaffle ingredients together and bake them in your chaffle maker. It shouldn't take too long. In my case, it takes about 4 minutes. After removing the chaffles, cut them into bite-sized chunks. Smaller chunks will make this dish seem more like regular stuffing. Mix the chaffle pieces with a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Bake the chaffle pieces in a pan that has parchment paper at the bottom for 30 minutes at 300 degrees. This will make the chaffles crispier and bread-like. While the chaffles are baking, fry up 3 pieces of bacon and cut them into small pieces, or cut them into pieces and then fry them. Take the bacon out of your skillet, but leave the grease in it to flavor the other ingredients. Cut up an onion and cook it in the bacon grease for about a minute. Then add a small package of sliced mushrooms, and you can cut them up to make them even finer, if you like. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Add a tablespoon of chopped sage and cook for a couple of more minutes until you get the texture you feel is right. Add your chaffle pieces to a large casserole dish. Add the mushroom mixture to the chaffle breading, then stir in a 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Add the bacon pieces and 2 tablespoons of butter and mix it all together. Then put it in your oven, bake it at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And when it comes out of the oven, you'll have a very tasty stuffing that is keto style and will do very little to your blood sugar. So we are back, and fun fact, Benedicta, coming from Africa and Nigeria, Africans typically they celebrate Thanksgiving, but they don't have one specific Thanksgiving day, do they? There's not like one day out of the year, that particular day where everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. Is that right?
Yeah, we don't have a particular day, but we have, general November is the general month that every church pick their own day of Thanksgiving. Like the 4 Sundays will be like, anywhere you go is like Thanksgiving going on.
And so Thanksgiving is a big church event. It's really related to the church above everything else.
We make it that is one good thing about Africa. I give it up to, Africa. Like we make our Thanksgiving all about God.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you go to church, you have a long service, you praise, you sing, you hear preaching.
Wear your pretty clothes.
Have a big meal.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
It's a big thing.
But every church is free to decide which Sunday. It's always on a Sunday. It'll never be on a Thursday. But your church will decide which Sunday they're going to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yes, yes.
And Christmas is the same way with Africa. The Africans consider Christmas a Christian holiday, which of course it is. It would celebrate the birth of Jesus. But in America, strangely, a lot of people will say, well, Christmas is on Sunday this year. I think I'll stay home so I can just watch my kids play with their presents.
Yeah.
Whereas an African would never even consider that. Christmas is when you get dressed up, you go to church, you celebrate, you eat on Christmas day as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And even if Christmas comes on like a Tuesday,
we go to church.
You still go to church, right? Mm-hmm. So again, the Africans are a little higher than we are when it comes to celebrating the holidays as they should be celebrated.
You're getting this whole thing of Africa, get all together. You're becoming a full-fledged African man.
That is me. I am an African chief.
You're learning quickly.
All right. Let's get to the real deal. The real point of this video is to see, we made it. It looks official. Mm-hmm. But the question is, will we like it? So go ahead and take a sample of it and tell me what you think.
Okay. Not bad.
Not bad. It's not a very powerful statement in America. It's kind of like when I asked her if I could call her when I first met her, and I said, "Can I call you when I get back to America?" And she said, "Oh, it's okay." I thought, that's not a very powerful statement. It's okay. So
it's really good. It's
all
good.
Right. It's not just not bad.
No, it's really good.
All right. Well, let me try. I like it a lot. I think I wouldn't have added quite as much salt. It's maybe a little saltier than it needed to be. We were kind of debating that because when we tasted the chaffles, we put some salt in them. Normally, I would never put salt in a chaffle. Anyway, but the flavor is good. Now, the idea of stuffing is you have a bit of turkey, or in this case, chicken, and you have a bit of stuffing. So let's try it that way. It has some of the flavorings, and we added certain spices we normally wouldn't have added to most things to make it more, have the flavor of stuffing. And you can tell it does.
It's good.
So yeah, it's good. It would definitely work. Having a hard time swallowing here. Okay, one thing you can do, we cut up the chaffles in pieces. We cut up the mushrooms in pieces. It still makes a real chunky stuffing. Now, if you want it a little finer, like most stuffings you buy in a box anyway, are not very chunky. It's all kind of ground up pretty much. You could just either grind things up or just cut them up finer and have less chunk, but the flavor is quite good. So, again, it is a bit complicated to make. Complicated not in the sense that it's hard, anybody could do it, but in the sense that there's quite a few steps to it. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, special events would be my recommendation for this, but it'll definitely fill you up. So a lot of times people that are on keto, they're like, I don't know if I can get filled up for Thanksgiving. I can't eat stuffing, and I can't eat the corn on the cob. I can't eat the mashed potatoes. I can't eat this. I can't have the, all these different things.
Yeah.
Well, number one, there are substitutes, and number two, this stuffing will fill you up. Time you eat the turkey and the stuffing and the green beans,
right,
they'll fill you up. Now, one more thing that will really make your Thanksgiving a treat is our pumpkin pie low-carb style. So we've made a video about that.
Yeah.
And so all they've got to do is go to the description, and if you say, I don't see any of this in the description, you have to look for the word more, M-O-R-E. And when you click that, magically, everything opens up, and you find out there's all kinds of goodies that you didn't even know were there.
Okay.
And so YouTube hides a lot in those descriptions, and you have to click on more.
Yeah.
But anyway, watch the video where we show you how to make a low-carb pumpkin pie that tastes great. I think it tastes, honestly, better than a normal pumpkin pie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Better than Walmart's version anyway.
Oh.
So.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I know all about that. She's afraid we'll offend Walmart.
Don't hurt their feelings.
We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. All right, well, there is our Thanksgiving gift to you. From Keto Focus. Thanks to Keto Focus. Shout out to her. She does a great job. She's my favorite of all the people that do keto recipes. She's my absolute favorite. So connect to her and subscribe, and you'll learn a lot about different foods you can have. So, you want to wish them a happy Thanksgiving before we sign off?
Okay. I wish you all, or we wish you all, a happy Thanksgiving day with turkey, stuffing, green beans, and everything you're going to lay on the table.
Yep.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Get your loved ones together. Enjoy a great meal.
Yes.
Give thanks to God. We tested our blood sugar about an hour and 20 minutes after we finished eating, attempting to see where our blood glucose would peak. No problemo. Benedicta's glucose read 104, and mine read 101. And the next morning, I had a fasting blood sugar of 89. Apparently, Mike, the glucose meter, liked this stuffing. Probably most of you know my wife Benedicta, but few of you know the amazing paths God has led her to bring her to where she is today. Benedicta was orphaned at an early age and lived with an elderly stepmother growing to adolescence. They were so poor, Benedicta had to drop out of school and sell food door to door for them to survive. As a teen, Benedicta got a job as a housemaid, which developed into a nightmare. She was required to cook, clean, wash, take care of the children, and she had to get up at 4 a.m. every day just to get her work started. Worse than that, she was frequently beaten. At around 20, she moved to the huge city of Lagos where she started her own little business. Sometimes she prospered, but at other times she nearly starved and went days at a time without eating. At one point, she became so sick she passed out in her room and nearly died. She found herself outside of her body and she was able to see the splendors of heaven until she was sent back with a command to share her story. One day, however, her life changed when an American evangelist came to her community to preach. And of course, that was me. The rest, as they say, is history. Benedicta has shared her life story in a recently published autobiography, and you can get it on Amazon as either an ebook or a paperback. A link to this book on Amazon is in the description.